Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Traffic Geyser's webinar. I think we got a great call this week. We've got a gentleman on the call that most of the gals here that are listening will know as, I believe it's Lieutenant Taggart from General Hospital. His name is Réal Andrews, and Réal is not just a actor. Réal does a number of things. He's a husband, he's a father, he's a coach, he's an entrepreneur, and he actually sent me a video this morning, and unfortunately I wasn't able to play it because GoTo's just had an issue with it. So he had a hard time pronouncing entrepreneur. I thought that was kind of funny, and I'll tell you something else he did in a second. And he's a motivational speaker. He has completed the Hawaiian Ironman 2 times. Not just once, but twice. And there's so many folks that I would imagine, and I know I couldn't do it, swim, bike, and run for as long as that is. There's a lot of folks that can't finish it one time. He's not only finished it once, but he's finished it twice. But most important to us is that he is a Traffic Geyser and Instant Customer user. So with that being said, hey, Réal, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Robin, yes. Beautiful. I'm down here in California. We've got the beautiful weather, and so I don't got much to complain about.
It's all good in SoCal, huh?
Yeah. Oh, it is a beautiful place to live, and because I know I was in Connecticut not only 2 years ago. I was in Connecticut, and right now I think it's like 30 below, and they got snow, and I can't even imagine, dude. That's just like, that's not even human.
That's hilarious. Now, you sent me some, or you've got actually a couple mottos, and just if you want, real briefly, talk about those. What do those mean to you?
Well, yeah, they mean a lot, and I'll just give you really quick the breakdown. Like just to say, like, one of the things I do, one of my little things is I train a lot of kids. Sports specific, also work with people in the gym. And every person I work with, I give them a journal. And on the very first page of that journal, it has two of 3 of those ones that you have and the number one thing at the top is there's no such word as can't. I can't even believe I just said that. Usually I say there's no such word as C-A-N-T.
Right.
And the little quick back history behind that was back in the day when I was 13, we had made it to the championships on a football team. We had an average weight of 135 pounds on our line, and we were going up against what we called the Big Black Mean Machine. They had an average weight of 200 pounds. They wore all black uniforms. I remember it as if it was yesterday, black helmets, the whole deal. And, at that point, we were just happy to make the championships. We were good with second place. And when we were warming up, the coach, I think, picked that up. And our coach, who was a very quiet, timid coach, all of a sudden he comes in the locker room and he is just screaming and yelling and banging helmets and lifting kids off their feet up against the locker. But the gist of his speech was that there was no such word as CANT. You go out there and hit harder than you've ever hit. You run faster than you've ever run. You catch balls you could never catch before. And he went on, and we went on to win 24-0. And wow. I not only had an amazing experience, but for me, from that day on, I literally erased the word CANT from my vocabulary. Like literally, I just wouldn't say it. I don't use it. So much so that if you were to meet my kids now, and you say the C word around them, the CANT word, we need to clarify that. They will, yeah, right? They will correct you, and they'll say no, not able, or they'll go, Dad, they said the C word. So that's where that one comes from. The next one is don't dream big,
right?
And very powerful. Every night, my mom would kiss me goodnight, and she'd whisper in my ear. She'd say, "Don't dream tonight, son. Dream big." Every single night, and even to this day, when I talk to her, she'll say that. And that coupled with the no such word as CNT. I graduated from a class of 1,800. I was the only African American back then in a small town in North Vancouver, BC. And I grew up around all naysayers, dream sealers. at that time I wanted to be an actor. I had aspirations to be a stuntman. There was no such thing as an African-American stuntman, and there was certainly not many African-American working actors, if at all. So when I would share that dream, people would be like, yeah, really, why don't you just do what you're supposed to do, or don't waste your time, or yada, yada. Well, I went on to be the first African-American stuntman, have a very successful acting career. And so I'm always telling people, just dream. Don't let people steal your dreams. And, the one another one I use is prepare for adversity. And I always tell people, because the minute you decide to make a change in your life, to go after your dreams, to lose weight, to go do this, to become a social media entrepreneur, to, whatever, I always tell people, hey, listen, you can take this to the bank. Mr. and Mrs. Adversity sitting right outside that door. They're waiting right for you. The minute you change and decide to take your life to the next level, they're going to take you out of your game. So you got to be focused and stay focused on your purpose, because it's coming. And I can tell you, I was just sharing that with one of my new clients this morning, because at 49, you start to see this thing happen over and over again, and you know it not to be just coincidental. It's a reality. And I believe it so much now that when my life really gets in a turmoil and it's really sucking and everything's going wrong, I get excited. I get fired up, because I know it's going to get good. And, when I get to decide to do something different, I kind of, just in a fun way, like my own little rocky way, I'm like, all right, let's go, man. Let's go. Come on, adversity. Just get it over with. Bring it on right now, because you ain't going to beat me. Let's duke it out and just get out of here and move on and go try somebody else. Let's go.
Right on.
Let's go.
Well, I imagine just being around you fires folks up, huh?
Yeah, Gab.
Oh, don't have my screen up, huh? Hang tight 1 sec, folks.
Don't be showing my baby pictures, man. I don't want none of those pictures when I had that full on Michael Jackson afro where I was 3 feet across.
That's so funny. That's exactly what I was looking for too, and I couldn't find one. Dadgummit. Can you see it now, Gab? If somebody could throw in the chat window whether they can see my screen or not, I'd appreciate it.
See, hey, Rob, what were we just talking about? We were talking about adversity. See that?
There you go.
Trying to take us out of our game right now. That doesn't surprise me.
Right from the get-go, huh?
That's the way it is, man. Every time. He's just always going to try and take a little jab here, take a little jab there.
Okay, well, I'm gonna assume that everybody could see my screen. So why don't we just go ahead and get started and just chat a little bit. So everybody knows what Réal's going to talk about is his experiences with Traffic Geyser and with with Instant Customer, and what it's done for him, and what he uses, how he uses it, and it's made him a good bit of money. And he's going to share his tips, some tips with you guys. So maybe it's something you haven't thought about, and you can try it yourself. So let's just start with how'd you get started with Traffic Geyser?
Absolutely, and I just, in case you can hear the screaming and stuff, I just want to say, I'm sitting in the parking lot right now waiting for my kids, but because that's where it all started, right? Because the reason I found, initially Traffic Geyser is because even as an actor, I'm very successful. They pay me very well, but it was costing me time with my family, and I wasn't seeing the fruit of my labor. Certainly my first kid was growing up without me, so it's kind of surreal that I'm sitting here in this parking lot, and that's why you hear those kids screaming, because this is what I do every day because of Traffic Geyser and Instant Customer and the systems we're going to talk about. I pick my kids up every day. I drop my kids up every day. I get to see my kids a lot, and I'm not boasting, but I just know that's why I get passionate about, because, you know, initially I started this because I wanted to bring my wife home. I wanted her to be a stay-at-home mom so she could take care of our kids and not other people. And in the process, I was blessed that I brought myself home. And so I get fired up to let other dads know that they can be home too and how important it is. So that brings me to, you know, back in the day when I started, I got into direct sales, you know, for that reason. And in the process of trying to find a way to explode my business, if you will, because I'm just that kind of guy. I'm not just, I don't want to do what everybody else does. I always want to do it better. I always want to try. I'm always thinking out of the box. And I was on the internet and I was surfing because at that time with my company, they weren't internet savvy at all. They didn't even know about Facebook. They didn't know about Twitter. They didn't know about social media. They didn't know about, and at that time, you know, we were building a business the old school way, the way it started 18 years ago. You know, what we call, you know, putting the foot on the pavement, getting eyeball to eyeball, which is always great. But I kept thinking there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a way where I can reach more people, where I can reach out. And thus, one day, surfing the internet, I found Mike Koenig and Traffic Geyser. And I was just enthralled. And it was one of those things, you know what I'm talking about. You know, you surf, and boom, and I was just mesmerized. And I just started watching him, and I was like, and I was buying into it, and I was like, this makes sense to me, and I was like, wow, and I took action, dude. And I initially started with the Traffic Geyser, and you know, that, you know, the video thing made sense to me, you know, because I'm in the film industry. I got that. And, you know, so I started doing that initially to capture leads and to get out there, you know, shooting videos, you know, driving traffic to squeeze pages, you know, and that's where it all started. And then as the system grew, and me and Mike were talking recently, this is really important for people to understand, because we talked about this. You know, imagine if I just stopped with Traffic Geyser. Because we talked about how important it is to stay, you know, around the fire, if you will. Stay around
right.
Mike, because Mike's brilliant. You know, a lot of people think, oh, here comes Mike with another thing. He's just trying to sell us something else. No, when you get to know Mike, it's because he's not satisfied either. He gets something new, and he goes, well, how can I make this better? How can I? What else can I do? And then he gets together with all these brilliant minds, and they come up with a new idea and a new idea, and yada yada. So he comes up with a new system. Well, you know, that's why you stay in the loop, because Traffic Geyser grew into, you know, Monster Follow-Up. It grew into Instant Customer. It grew into Fusion. It grew into all kind of crazy stuff that has allowed me to explode my business, to be efficient, because my business, I have over 1,000 people on my team. You know, I can't physically do what I need to do properly, but because of Mike's systems, I can. And I can be like in a million places at once. I can, you know, give you a few examples, okay? Old school. Let me go old school. Let me go new school. Old school is old school. New school is Mike Koenig systems, okay? Old school. We go to a trade show. We do a presentation, or we stand at a table. We have these stupid, and I call them stupid, but back then they were great, 4x5 cards, pieces of paper. People fill them out. You get a whole bunch of cards. You can't read them. Right. Most of them are bunk. They're not even good anyways, because people don't want to give you their information. New school. Here comes Mike's system. You create a campaign, get a number, text your name and email to this number, and you'll get a chance to win this. All of a sudden, you're getting all kind of leads in. It's automatically populated into a campaign and a follow-up. So I don't have to do nothing, right? When I come home and I'm tired and I just want to relax, I don't have to go to my computer and input things. It's all automatically done and taken care of. And my conversions are much huger now because they're actually real. You know, the system is amazing. I don't know how it tells it immediately if it's a bad one or not, but it does. And then, you know, it's just efficient. So that's one thing. You know, old school. as you're building a team, you got to communicate with your team. You know, everybody's at different levels. I got 1,000 people on my team, let's just say for argument's sake.
Right.
If I sit down today and I want to call all 1,000 of those people because I want to be a good leader and keep in touch with them and follow up, it ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen, dude. But, you know, with the system, I can do a voicemail. Hey, man, I was just sitting here in my car waiting for my kids. I was thinking about you, want to see how it's going. Hope the family's good. You know, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what's going on. Generic message, okay?
And you're doing that through Instagram, right?
Yeah, because I know it's going out to 1,000 people. Now, those 1,000 people, all right, maybe 900 of them don't want to talk to me. But whoever does want to talk to me is going to respond back to my call, and now I can be efficient with my time, and that's who I'm going to call back. Hey, dude.
Right.
Hey, you know, and so they think it's great. You know, the text. One thing I love about Mike's system is if you don't have the system, there's so many cool things, but I have a few of my favorites. Let's just talk about that voicemail. You know, when you get these stupid voicemails, right? We all get them, right? Hey, are you looking to make money? It sounds so fake.
The robocall?
Like, you know, yeah, a robocall. It sounds like, you know, and it just pisses people off. Well, when I leave a message like that, here's the two things I love about it. One, it don't sound fake. It sounds real, like I just called you, left a message. Two, which I love, they cannot pick up the phone fast enough. So they don't get to answer the phone, but it'll leave a message. So they pick it up, and it doesn't sound fake. It sounds like you really actually just called them.
Right.
And then they'll call you back. I love that, you know. And then, of course, you can personalize it, right? And the thing, you know, we can touch people, I think, 7 ways, Robin? We got email, we got text, we got voicemail, we got letter, we got postcard, we got that scan thing, right? The
QR code.
Yeah, the QR code. Well, I think Mike just told me 8 to 20% open rate if you're lucky on emails, okay? I'm just here to tell you people don't open emails anymore, okay? So here's what I love about the system. Old school, we send emails, nobody opens them anymore. So whether I'm trying to contact a customer, a prospect, or my team member, and let's say I have something very important, like last night I had a very important team call that I wanted to make sure that all my A players were on. Well, when I do that, I send an email, I send a text message, and I send a voicemail. The email is going to have the information on it. The text message is going to say something like, and it's personalized, that's what I love. It'll say, Robin, check your email, some very important information I just sent you about something you need to know about tonight. I like to be vague like that. I want to get your information. Then I'm going to send a voicemail. Hey, listen, Réal here. Listen, I just sent you a text message about a very powerful thing we're doing tonight, and I sent you the email. Make sure you check it because we don't want to miss you. What I've seen is my conversion rate, whether it's a prospect, a customer, or a team member, is through the roof.
Right.
Amazing.
That's awesome. You've got, I believe, 50 some odd instant customer campaigns going actively. They're all sitting on cruise control, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of becoming like a freak with those campaigns, but that's because they're so simple. You know, I mean, obviously, I literally can throw one together in like 10, 15 minutes right now. I mean, it's so, and here's the thing. We talked about this, okay? I'm not even using it right, and I could do it in 10 to 15 minutes. I'm doing more work than I have to. Mike and the crew down there, they actually have it set up for you that is turnkey. I mean, you literally don't really have to do anything but fill in a few things here, but I just, you know, I kind of went the backwards way and then kind of figured out, hey, it's already been done. So, but hey, that's cool. Anyways, now I can do it both ways. I can do it the hard way and the easy way. And,
so how many subscribers do you think you've added since you started using previously Monster Follow Up and currently Instant Customer?
I want to say probably a couple thousand. But yeah, but it's probably more because I mean it's a little more than information than people need to know. But I mean, I had one of the largest organizations in my thing, and just for whatever reasons, I did something that people don't normally do. I resigned, and when I resigned, I had to, as you know, you walk away from that whole downline, and I started new again, like just over a year ago. So you know, and I had my other thing in there before, so all those went away. So, and that was a huge list. So, but and it's kind of hard to say too, because once again, I said like I said, I kind of unorthodox it, like what I do, and I'm still learning. You know, I actually not only use it for me, for my key people. I built like the auto. What I love about, here's another thing. Okay, here's a cool. I love this. When you're if you're somebody on the call right now who is a network marketer or you know, direct sales or whatever, they're all the same, you know, and you're building a team. Okay, here's what I love about it, because as you know, what's most important when you're building a team is follow-up and duplicatability. Is it duplicatable? Okay, and I'm kind of a freak, and I've been told that, you know, many times in my company, and said, Réal, you're not duplicatable. And that kind of hurt me a lot initially, because, you know, not everybody wants to do what I do. But with Mike's system, once I build my autoresponders, and I have some of them that are a year deep, you know, I have autoresponders for athletes, I have autoresponders for weight loss, I have autoresponders for potential business builders. Like you said, I have over 50 things. But now with my key business builders on my team, I just hit copy. I get them to sign up with, you know, the instant customer, get their own campaign, and I just go boom, and I email it to them, and they upload it into their boom. So now we're all talking the same language. As I'm bringing in a new guy and I'm grooming him and helping him and mentoring him, I can make sure people aren't falling through the crack because they're putting them into the system, and the autoresponder that I've built is dripping on them and making sure that they fall through the cracks. So now I'm watching my organization just starting to just blow up exponentially. And it's really, you know, like, you know, perfect example. Okay, I have a campaign that I use when we do these combines we were talking about earlier. Okay, well, I got a new guy. I ain't even met him yet, but he just did a combine last weekend. He did a combine the weekend before. I shot him the campaign that I used, gave him a bit of coaching. The cool thing was, I said, here's all you got to do. Just tell people to text their name and number to this email, and you're going to give them a free this. And I set it all up, and I did this thing that said, hey, stop by the Advocare booth. They're going to be giving away something, and I did that every hour. And so I got my new guy. I'm not even there. He's in Texas. I'm in California, and he killed it. He killed it. And I'm sitting back here watching because I put myself on the notification.
Right.
So I want to make sure that he's using it right, and I'm watching, and I can see every time somebody's opting in, and I'm going, so I can, because if I know if my phone don't start going crazy, there's a problem, and I'm picking up the phone, I'm saying, hey, dude, what's going on? How's it going? Really?
Right.
Okay, well, maybe you need to make some adjustments. But when I see my phone start going boom, 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 and he's getting all these leads opting in, I'm going, yeah, cool, okay, great. It's working. So it's kind of cool. So now I can multitask, and it's all good. I mean, just yet another amazing thing that the system can do for you.
So we've talked a lot about instant customer. What about the Traffic Geyser side of it? You do a lot of squeeze pages or landing pages. You do video submissions. You update statuses on your social media sites. Talk a little bit about that. How we've got a lot of listeners that are just coming on with Traffic Geyser, and they have no clue where to start. If you were brand new to the company or using our tools, where would you start?
Well, first of all, just take action. Don't be afraid. I'd be lying to you because, I laugh about it, we joke about it. I call myself a social media idiot. When I first saw it, I knew I needed to have it. But it was overwhelming to me when I was looking at it from the outside. I was scared too, like probably most of you are. And I was like, dude, I didn't know any of this stuff. I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to figure this out? And I was like freaked out. And here's the thing, I was freaked out. I don't need to mention names, but I freaked out because Mike wasn't the first thing I found. I found another thing first, and dude, it was, excuse the expression, but it was a nightmare, okay? I mean, it was like, you want to talk about overwhelming? I still don't know what the hell they were trying to teach me, okay? And then I found Mike, and so I was scared because I was like, oh, man, I don't know. I mean, I literally, Robin, with that other thing, because I'm a freak, and once I commit to something, I'm going to figure it out. That's
right.
Just the way I roll. I don't quit. And I literally was up for 25 hours a day for months just trying to figure out this system, and I could not get it. I mean, I remember those days. I was turning into a nightmare. And then that's how I found Mike, because I was surfing trying to figure out this thing, and I was like, oh, gosh, another thing. But for some reason, I said, this is different from that, and I took action, and oh, my God, it was like taking candy from the baby. It was so simple. So the first thing is don't be afraid. Just take action. It's simple. It's easy. Anybody can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. Then, you know what? Just have fun with the video. People get freaked out. Obviously, I'm an actor, so, it's a natural for me. But I'll tell you this, what I do know, what I have learned, my most successful videos are the worst videos ever. Ones that, because I'm an actor and I know excellence, normally I would go, oh, my God, dude, cut, take, let's do it again, dude. That sucks, dude. But what people like, just normal. They just want real. They just
right?
Yeah, no pun intended. But they just want real, dude. They don't care. They don't care what you look like. Actually, the more real it is, the more mistakes you make. I tell you what, I think they're more successful. That's what I think. So just have fun with it. Make your videos. There's nothing more powerful, in my opinion. Obviously, I'm in the film media. Video is powerful. And when you come to dominating the search engine, dominating Google, and that's where Mike and his team are brilliant, because, Google ain't just, watching the video. It's listening to what you're saying. It's, watching the keywords and all kind of crazy stuff. So if you listen to what Mike teaches you and stuff like that and utilize it, you can really dominate and position yourself as an expert if that's what you're trying to do, or really blow your business up if that's what you want to do, drive traffic to your business, because most people won't do it. It's just amazing to me. I'm going to share stuff with you guys today. Mike's going to share stuff with you. And here's a statistic for you. And if some of you get this today on the call, your life will change. 97% of the success in our country is enjoyed by 3% of the world. Because most people won't take action. It's not rocket science. If you want to be, a social media expert, it's right there. The plan's right there for you to take it. You can do it right here with the system. But most people will sit there and they won't take action. If you want to be an actor, you want to be this, you want to be a bricklayer, you want to be a real estate person, it's been done before. Nobody's, and so, but people don't take action. So the biggest thing I can say is just take action. And I just want to share one quick story for you. I'll make it real quick because I know this to be true. Back in the day, when I was, how old was I? I think I was 15, okay? I had no aspiration to be an actor at that point, really. My aunt had a modeling school, and she called me up. She said, hey, Réal, I'm having this big acting seminar, and I was like, yeah, whatever, I'm not going. There's going to be a lot of girls there. She said, okay, what time should I show up? So when I heard girls, I went. But the long story short, here's where I first figured it out, that statistic that I told you. One of the biggest casting directors in Hollywood was the guest speaker there. And we did scenes and all that all weekend. And at the end of the weekend, he said to this room of 5,000 people that paid money, that wanted to be actors, he said, I'm going to give you a secret. I'm going to give you a tip right now. And as sure as I give you this secret and tell you that this is what it takes to be successful in Hollywood, I guarantee you out of this 5,000 people, not maybe 5 of you will take action. And the whole room was like, what? Oh, yeah, no, dude, I'm in, right? And I remember this, right? So anyway, she said this one thing. 14 years went by. I was a successful actor. I took what he said. And one of the things he said was also about sending a thank you note. Don't send a thank you note right away. Send a thank you note 7 days later because it's like having a second meeting. He said, here's what I do. I have my secretary come in, take that thank you note, put it in a special file, yada, yada. After I became very successful, 14 years later, I said, you know what? I want to thank that guy because he changed my life. I called my agent. I said, make an appointment with this guy because I want to thank him. He said, he don't see anybody. I said, you're my agent. I want an appointment. Get me an appointment. He called me back 10 minutes later. He says, I can't believe it. He said, he wants to see you. I said, great. I went down. I went to his office. It was a big office. I took this long walk. As I'm getting close to his desk, I see my very first headshot sitting on his desk. And the first thing I was like getting pissed in my head. I can't believe my agent is sending out this picture. I don't even have hair anymore. And when I get to the desk, he says, you see that picture? And I was about to apologize. And he said, turn it over. And there was my thank you card. And he said, do you know that out of those 5,000 people that were at that webinar, that seminar, you were the only one who did what I said. And look where you are today.
Right.
All about taking the action. And it's the same thing with this, guys. You know, you're looking at the system. If you haven't, some of you have taken action and you're still not doing nothing with it. But, if you're sitting on the other side, I know what it's like. And, I know I'm spending a bit of time on that, but it's just because I'm passionate about, don't miss an opportunity. If you're sitting here listening to this or looking at it, there's a reason you are, because you want more with your life, and you can have a lot more with your life. That's all I'm going to say.
Thank you very much for that. So, once you got Traffic Geyser and spent a little bit of time figuring it out, and my guess is it didn't take you as long as that other program did, right?
No.
Okay. And once you started using it, everything just fell in place. You started doing your video submissions, started doing your status updates automated directly through the system, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And it was really easy, man. I mean, the first time I did it, I think maybe it took me an hour, maybe 2 hours, But like I said, I can do them in 10, 15 minutes. I can do them on the fly. I do them on the fly. Sometimes I find myself in a situation and I'll just do it real easy. Another thing I'll encourage you, ADD people and you, people like me who want to do things with excellence. Excellence is great, but what I've learned is just do it. Just do it. Don't, just do it, and it'll get better, and it'll get better, and it'll get better. It's never going to be perfect. You're going to make yourself crazy doing that. And you just do it. Just do it. It's really easy, man. It really is. And the more you do it, it'll just open up other doors, and you'll go, oh, and you'll get this idea, and then you get, that idea, and it's just endless, I mean, I think out of the box with it, Robin, like, here's something for some of you that are using the system that you might not have thought of. Recently, my most recent, entrepreneurial thing that I'm doing is I'm producing my own fishing show.
Right.
And, when you produce your show, you get so many slots for commercial time. And, you go out and you sell commercial time, and that's how you make your money. Well, when I went out to start selling commercial time, which I thought would be real easy, I was getting doors shut on me left, right, and center because, the economy's tough, and everybody's like, well, we already spent our film budget for this year. We don't have any money for that, yada, yada, yada. And then, I was talking to this one guy who had just turned me down. Dude, I see where you're going. I love your vision. I really wish we could be part of this, but, dude, they just cut my budget, the whole deal. And then he was like, we started just talking, and he was like, he was trying to friend me on Facebook. I think that's how it happened, yeah. He was trying to friend me on Facebook while he was talking to me. He was like, dude, you got 5,000 people on your Facebook. I said, yeah, I know. I said, And then he goes, oh my gosh, you got like 20,000 almost on your Twitter. And I said, and he goes, you know what? We have a budget for that. And I like really quick, on the fly, I was like, yeah, well, because that's kind of another thing that I do, and I'm kind of just dancing, thinking like, yeah, because you don't just get a commercial spot. What we do is I can really help you by, I can do little video blurbs, and I blast them out, and I can really dominate the search engines, and I can help you to get, this and that. And I was talking out of my what at the time, but I knew that I'd be able to back it up with the system. And what I found was a niche, to make yourself, everybody's irreplaceable. The trick is to make yourself hard to replace. Well, a lot of the world out there right now is now figuring out what Mike's been preaching for several years now, and they're starting to see the importance of social media. Most of them have no clue how to do it, even what it is. It freaks them out. It overwhelms them. So you now with the system can, position yourself as an expert and go to them and say, hey, I can do this for you. Here's what I can do. I can not only, get you leads, I can build your Twitter for you. I can build your Facebook for you. I can get you out there in front of people with little, you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of what I did. So now these people, and I actually went back to several people who said no, now that I had a new plan of attack, and got them to come on board. Because now I was able to add and offer them more value, and they were able to see, a value for the budget, and it's a totally untapped area. So it was very successful. And now, what my next part of that is, and I'm doing my first one next weekend, a lot like we talked about. I don't even think I'm using 1,000th of the system. It's so powerful. But now what I'm seeing is the value of, once again, positioning myself as an expert, because what I just did is I went to one of my sponsors just from the show. He emailed me and he said, hey, are you going to be in town? There's a big sports show coming here to California, a trade show, and next weekend. And he said, hey, are you going to be in town? Because we're coming in town to do, the Fred Hall show. And I said, as a matter of fact, I am. And as I'm saying that, I'm like, I see this. So I called him back and I said, hey, listen, you know what? Side business that I do is I help people when they do trade shows to collect leads, and I can increase your conversions and yada yada. So I'm using one of the campaigns that's already built, by the way. It's turnkey. It's right there for you. All I have to do is input their information and yada yada. So now I'm going to go and charge them to collect leads for them, and I know without a doubt that it's going to be very successful. They're going to get more leads than they ever had. They're going to, probably do more sales, Lord willing, and I'm going to take their testimonies and watch me. I'm going to turn right back around the minute I get their testimonies after next weekend and go to all my other sponsors, because they all do trade shows. Every single one of them, and they do it all over the place. And that's a huge market, right? I mean, that's why they're doing the trade show. They're doing it to get leads.
Absolutely.
So,
That's awesome. What you've been with Traffic Geyser 3+ years. Approximately, how much do you think that you've earned directly related to your use of Traffic Geyser and Instant Customer over that period of time?
Well, because I can honestly say that easily 90% of what I do, if not more, is some way or another wrapped in through Traffic Geyser, Instant Customer, Monster Follow-Up, Video Geyser, one way or another. So I credit pretty much most of my, income to that in one way or another. And we've easily, in the past 2 or 3 years, we've easily made, I'd say over $300,000 to $400,000.
And that's because of the fact that you said heck with it, I'm gonna do it, and you did it. You started using Traffic Geyser. You first you saw the value in it, so you started using it, and you've turned it into what it is today because of it, right?
Absolutely, and I think what people need to understand, okay, you've heard me say it a couple times. You and me talked about this. I'm not even using the system correctly. That's what I'm learning now. I took this system because I saw it in terms of my business, okay? There is so much out there. I mean, you watch, there's people that are using the system correctly, and I'm just starting to go down that avenue right now, and I'm excited about it because there's big bucks in that, okay?
Right.
I'm just using it to build my stay-at-home business, and it's made my business, hey, I'm very happy with my stay-at-home business. Both me and my wife are stay-at-home, and we do very, very well. And it's helped me to build a great team and a great organization. But there's a whole nother world out there, you know, in terms of like what we just talked about, helping people to build their businesses, helping people to collect leads, helping people to, you know, all that. And you can charge big. I mean, Mike was sharing some things to me, got me fired up, got me thinking out of the box today, even in terms of my fishing show, you know, stuff that you can do. You know, he took what I was doing and took it to a whole nother level, the way you could sell, you know, commercial time and then run specials and have them text into this and you can direct it to the, I mean, it's endless. I mean, when you have a solution for people's problems, there's no dollar value on that. The dollar value is how much is this worth to you? And when you're looking at somebody who has $100,000 business, $250,000 business, $1 million business, whatever, and if you can show them that you can help them to do X and help them to do it better, and that will increase their dollar amount, what's that worth to you, buddy?
Right.
And you can literally charge accordingly. So, yeah, and it all started with me taking action. Absolutely. Right. I mean, you know, I could have sat there and said, good night, dude, I'm not doing this again. I'm not going to do this. But I knew something. You know, if I could, you know, and everybody has their different thing, okay? You know, I'm very spiritual, and you know, people who know me, you know I'm a big time Christian and all that. Everybody has their different beliefs. But what I can tell you is, I truly believe, and I don't think there's a person on this call who doesn't know what I'm talking about. We all get that gut feeling. You all get that inner voice. And you know what? That gut feeling is never wrong. The intellectual feeling, when it gets up in your head and you start thinking about it too much, is always wrong. So when you have a gut feeling, and if your gut is telling you to act on this or whatever, act. Because, you know, there's a saying, it's not my saying, but successful people take action. They jump. They don't put their foot in. They jump. Because only two things can happen. One, you're successful and great. You rock and roll. Two, you fail. And that's great too, because you recollect, you collect, because you're that type of person. You pick it up, you learn from your mistakes, and you attack and jump again, and something will work. I mean, I'm a true believer of that 1,000,000%. Listen to your inner gut. Just if it says jump, jump. Take action. You know, whatever. You know.
Well, we're right at the 45-minute mark, and do you have anything else you want to add? Any advice? You've pretty much given everybody the advice or your thoughts, but any closing remarks you want to throw out there?
No, I just, you know what, I'm excited to hear. One thing I love about Mike and his team, that they promote people and they promote everybody, their different successes. And so I'm excited to hear, you know, your success story, hear how it changes your life. As a matter of fact, you know, I'd love to hear, you know, if somebody got fired up today and you got excited and to take action, or maybe you already took action and I was able to, you know, I always hope that I can add value to somebody's life. So hopefully I added value to somebody. Hopefully I allowed somebody to think differently than they did before they got on this call, or to see it differently. And if so, you know, I'd love to, you know, hear about it one day, and I'd love to meet you, and you know, just that, man. I'm just all about paying it forward, and I love to hear those kind of stuff, exciting stuff.
Right on, brother. Well, you know, you and I will stay in contact. I appreciate your time today. You and I have had some great conversations over the last week or so. Appreciate the time that you've given to us today. Look forward to working with you in the future. Just being friends with you in the future, my friend.
You too, buddy. God bless you. Have a great day.
All right, peace. You take care.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Well, there you go, folks. Réal Andrews, he's a heck of a guy. He fired me up each time that he and I spoke. So hopefully this 45 minutes that he just spent talking about his experiences with Traffic Geyser, with Influence Engine. I'm sorry, I did it again. Instant Customer. He's shown that it does work. He's made it work. He took the action that everybody should take. If you're not a member right now and you're just thinking about it, well, just listen to what Réal just said. It's worked for him. It's worked for him for 3+ years. He has no thoughts about stopping using our tools. They're there. They work, and he's proven to himself. More important than proving to anybody else, he's proven to himself that they work for him. So let's see. What do we have next? We have, and we're almost done. We're going to make this under the hour today. So my tip for this week is Microsoft has a new app out. It's available on Droid, iPads, iPhones, OneNote Mobile. If anybody's on the call is like me, I forget 5 minutes after I think of something. You can download the app, throw it into your smartphone, and you'll never forget. It's you got a meeting and you want to make sure that you talk about a certain thing. You don't want to forget about it. Download the app. It seems to be a pretty cool app. I'm using it, and it works for me. And I still forget things, but the things I forget are the things that I don't put in OneNote. So again, those of you that are not current members, we've got everything covered. Your submissions, your follow-up, content distribution is huge. Réal just talked about that. The follow-up, just as huge, if not huger. And Réal uses that. Like I said, he's got over 50 campaigns that he's currently running, and he built them, and now he doesn't do anything. He just lets them run, and he makes a good chunk of money from doing it. So if you are interested in any of them, I will throw up the, let's see, let me find the chat window here. Traffic, if I could spell, trafficgeyser.com/21days/web. There's our trial for Traffic Geyser. You could use it for content distribution. You could use it for lead capture pages. You could use it for status updates. You could use it for anything that you want to get your content out to either your customers or prospects, and have your visibility on the search engines. Fusion, for those of you that are like Réal and marketers, Fusion is huge. It's got everything that you need to do the job. Let's see, that one is Main Street Marketing Machines.com/web. Instant Customer, 7 different channels of contact with your prospects and with your prospects converted to customers. Instant Customer .com/get secret. And lastly, cross-channel Mojo. This is tied into Instant Customer. We've created, I believe, 30 plus, maybe even 40 plus now, campaigns that are already done. They've been tested. They've been used for the last 6 months, 7 months by a number of our all-stars that have tested the product for us. They're using them, making money just from the follow-up. Kind of like, again, what Réal was talking about, sitting on cruise control and making the system work for you, contacting the folks, your customers, your prospects through text, through voice, through email, and with the cross-channel Mojo, great training. You get nine modules of training with our all-stars, and again, you're getting 30 plus pre-written campaigns that are worth your time right there, that you're not having to create these campaigns. They're already done for you, and that's another great tool to take a look at. That one, crosschannelmojo.com / where'd it go? There it goes. crosschannelmojo.com / web. And that's going to do it for this week, folks. Any questions that you may have? I'm not seeing any in the chat box right now. Any questions that you may have, feel free to shoot us an email at help@trafficgeyser.com, and we'll be more than happy to get those answered for you. And next week, we are going to have Mr. Mike Lemoyne, Fireman Mike, will be on the call with us, and he'll talk about how he's made his business grow with Traffic Geyser and Instant Customer. So until next week, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us, and you have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.